Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Please remember to like and subscribe. She was wearing an oversized hoodie, her hair pulled back in a messy bun, and tears streaming down her cheeks as she stood on that driveway, concealing a woman who used to stroll like the queen of Coyote Pass. Movers rushed around her, up the last of what she believed to be indestructible. Her power, her home, and her comfort. In front of her neighbors, reporters, and millions of Sister Wives fans, Robyn Brown's meticulously constructed persona came crashing down in real time that day. The ending was unexpected. Meri and Janelle Brown had retaliated after years of silence. They went inside the courthouse, and this time it wasn't just personal. It was legal. The verdict came down hard. The mansion near Flagstaff where Robyn once resided, regarded as a jewel in the family's crown, was shown to be the result of fraudulent transactions. The residence wasn't simply seized by the court. The illusion was torn apart by it. Robyn's face turned completely white. Kody lowered his shoulders. The truth had now hit them hard, and they remained silent. Greetings, folks. I'm Helena, and you're viewing Sister Wives News on ITLC. You already know this wasn't just about TV or real estate if you've been following this family for as long as I have. This was about power, control, treachery, and ultimately, responsibility. Once believing they were safe, Robyn and Kody ended up at the center of a collapse. Janelle and Meri didn't simply leave. They spun around and gave it their all in the battle. If you value truth and reality TV, please remember to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Did Robyn ever really see this coming, in your opinion? Was she simply too far inside the bubble, or what? Let's begin. Back when Robyn Brown joined the family. In 2010, it was presented as a whimsical addition to a contemporary polygamous home. She had a soft charm, was teary-eyed, compassionate, and very spiritual. The romance was exaggerated by TLC. Fans witnessed Kody driving hours to see her, making heartfelt proposals, and the other wives putting on brave fronts. What's more, the wives witnessed it. Something changed right from the start. The equilibrium broke. Everything revolved around Robyn as soon as he joined. Adding Robyn, according to Kody, made him feel as though he had fallen in love with the... Once more, it wasn't simply a soundbite either. The shot was a warning. Robyn gradually took up the role of the family's emotional center. Additionally, Meri and Janelle had a sense of exclusion from their own marriage. Meri, who had stayed by Kody's side through thick and thin, was abruptly disregarded. Her relationship with Kody was subtly neglected. The cool-headed, steady Janelle soon saw that choices were shifting toward a new king-queen dynamic, and they weren't. A section of that court. The legal marriage followed. In order for Robyn to officially wed Kody for the sake of the children, Meri legally divorced him in 20. In theory, it sounded admirable, but on an emotional level, it felt like a betrayal. Because Robyn was more than just the newest wife after that. She had the advantages and the legal authority, and eventually the money trail began to point to her. Unlike the rest of the family, Kody and Robyn started making their own financial decisions. Trust was damaged and properties were relocated. In family conversations, particularly, Robyn took up the passive position during the Coyote Pass land talks. However, her quiet demeanor frequently concealed the reality that her wants were already being addressed, her house was already secured, and everyone else was left waiting in limbo. The emotional chess Robyn played only made it worse. Whenever the other ladies expressed worry, they were always dead, always surprised or hurt, and always crying when questioned. This eventually made Meri and Janelle seem aggressive when all they were requesting was justice. Fans also began to realize that the favoritism went beyond sentimentality. It was structural. Funds, time, focus, and deference. Despite all of her modest gestures, Robyn accepted it without question when Kody handed it to her. The animosity really started to simmer there. Meri and Janelle remained silent for years. One Robyn-centered choice at a time. They attempted to keep the family together while they watched their emotional and financial stability crumble. Silence, however, has its limits. Furthermore, they didn't use dramatic or irate language when they eventually struck theirs. Tantrums. There was legal action involved. The stakes abruptly changed after Meri and Janelle filed their lawsuits. Feelings were no longer the only factor in this. It concerned money, facts, and how, at a time when the original wives were claiming their independence, Kody had shifted assets out of reach and easily placed them under Robyn's name. Even devoted followers were taken aback by the court documents. Large amounts of family property, including the couple's enormous Flagstaff mansion, had been covertly transferred by Kody into Robyn's hands. Furthermore, it didn't appear to be love when examined closely by the law. It appeared to be fraud. A forensic accountant was recruited by Meri and Janelle, and that individual discovered a financial manipulation map, undocumented transfers, fictitious co-signers, and dubious money transfers around the time Robyn's mansion was bought. There was no denying the evidence. This went beyond careless bookkeeping or bad decision-making. The judge made a decision based on the facts. Deceptive. Purpose. A conscious endeavor to protect assets from Meri and Janelle while they tried to distance themselves. At the heart of it all was the Flagstaff residence. Moreover, $1 million worth. It represented everything. The disparity the other women had endured for years, Robyn's denial of reality, and Kody's partiality. The courtroom fell silent as the judge ordered that it be confiscated and auctioned, with the earnings going to Meri and Janelle. Robyn froze. The floor appeared to have fallen out from under Kody because it had. Fans had never seen a public tumble like that in the series before. The headlines went crazy. A court decision cost Kody and Robyn their mansion. Social media took over. The sympathy Robyn had held onto for years vanished. Furthermore, this was more than just a financial issue for Meri and Janelle. It has to do with recognition. A court acknowledged what they had been expressing in private for years for the first time. This family was not functioning. Too much had been stolen for too long, and the setup was unbalanced. The time for reckoning had finally come. She never imagined having to let go, and the day of eviction seemed like the last curtain down. Although the house was off limits to cameras, the show documented the fallout. There were boxes all across the driveway, scribbles from as sharp as stick to the side of taped cardboard like legal and kitchen documents. Movers buzzed around Robyn, who was standing outdoors in a loose-fitting hoodie with mascara running down her cheeks. She had hitherto been protected by her privilege. It was now gone, packed up next to the recollection of being Kody's favorite that was protected. Across fences, neighbors muttered and peered through blinds. Off camera, a woman told producers that she didn't like the attitude Robyn brought to the scene. She pretended to be unaware of our existence. It wasn't shot in Florida, but the woman said, "Now look at her," like reality TV wrapped in judicial drama. It was a community's reaction to a fall from grace. Robyn attempted to defend herself online rather than in court. She started using social media, campaign that featured shaky footage of her driving while she sobbed, and gave her version of events. She shared posts about grief, betrayal, and everything she had given up. Support first came from some supporters, but it was short-lived. A video of Robyn sobbing on screen while wearing a roughly $7,000 Cartier bracelet and griping about the cost of bread went viral. The viewers were finished. Embarrassment replaced compassion. Meri and Janelle didn't have to gloat in the wild. They let Instagram speak for itself. Meri shared a mysterious image on her insteps. Sharp smile, ambiguous caption. She wrote that certain things simply are part of the universe. Robyn was quoted verbatim from her past episodes in thousands of comments. On a marble counter, Janelle shared pictures of coffee glasses clinking. Even TLC began to change the focus with a caption, "Peace tastes like this." While Robyn faded into background, Meri and Janelle were prominently highlighted in official posts. She was no longer tagged by brand partners. The sympathy quickly faded, and Kody was unable to handle it. According to production friends, he was avoiding the crew and spiraling silently while filming little at all. He used to yell about defending his family, but now he drove around Flagstaff without a purpose. At 2 a.m, reporters saw him parked outside eateries, but he never entered. The man who had formerly considered himself the leader of a large, multi-family family was falling apart. Robyn's role was dead on an emotional level. In public, she was ridiculed. She had been bankrupted. Additionally, for the first time. Meri and Janelle weren't the ones being marginalized in more than 10 seasons of Sister Wives. They were taller than before. And now the two individuals who had everything, control, money, and attention, had nothing at all. The network has seen everything behind the scenes. The litigation, the negative reaction from the public, and the decline in ratings when Robyn was on the show. Furthermore, even though Robyn maintained her conviction that she was still an essential component of the Sister Wives brand, TLC was already creating options. Managers were aware that things had changed, and more significantly, they recognized who the audience wanted to see more of: Janelle, Meri, and, quite unexpectedly, Christine. Robyn had turned into an asset. Thus, they offered Kody an option: gently, cruelly maintain the show or retain her. The message was apparent, even though the wording wasn't exactly that. Kody would remain in the show if he consented to shoot a reconciliation arc with his ex-wives, presenting it as a narrative of introspection and reconstruction. However, Robyn refused. There wasn't room for her in the story of TLC's redemption. The camera would now turn to show everyone she had pushed out after she had had her time. Days passed before a decision was made. Kody was miserable, but when you have past due payments, no mansion, and a legal catastrophe behind you, money speaks louder than vows. Their dull rental contract was in front of him as he sat down at the kitchen table one morning. Len's hair was unkempt, and Robyn hardly raised her head. She said in a whisper, "You don't have to do this." He signed, "Yes, I do." That was it. 10 years of devotion turned into pen on paper. Robyn broke. Not only did Kody pick the show, but it also validated what Meri and Janelle had consistently suggested. Her position had been short-term. She borrowed power. Desperate, she turned Christine, the last person anyone would have thought to contact. She was once described as manipulative by her ex-wife. Christine, however, had her own agenda. She had also been deceived by Kody. Furthermore, he continued to rely on the delusion that the show had helped to preserve. When they had their covert meeting, a padded envelope was slid across the table by Christine. There were transcripts, leaked production notes, and footage logs within that showed Kody making fun of his children, berating the crew, and off-camera implying that only Robyn should continue to be the center of attention. When Robyn said, "Why are you helping me?" Christine didn't even bat an eye. "Because I want him gone just as much as you do." The video was leaked weeks later. Videos of Kody yelling at producers and phoning family members became viral on entertainment websites. Members dead weight and casually remarking that contracts are for idiots. Overnight, the picture of the loyal, worn-out multiple spouse fell apart. The lady Kody left behind was now the only one standing up for him after his meticulously constructed reputation burned out in the public eye. They had lightning in a bottle, TLC knew. Following Kody's damaged reputation, the court drama, and the social media meltdown, they staged what was obviously a ratings-driven healing moment. The Brown Family Truth Summit was a multi-day on-camera confrontation that took place at Sedona Resort and was captured on camera using overhead cameras, therapy circles, and no escape routes. Everyone had to show there or risk losing their winnings. Robyn paused. Despite Kody's indignation, they went. The inspection was necessary. The first day began civilly but coldly. Civility was vanished by day 2. Decades of animosity sprang to the surface as eyes rolled, voices were yelled. Christine wasted no time. Kody's statement that Meri wasn't worth shooting was aired on the audio. No longer. Meri simply nodded with that icy half smile she perfected. Her blazer, so sharp you could feel the message. Janelle then produced bank records that demonstrated how Kody had surreptitiously transferred family funds into Robyn's possession. The room tilted. Then Robyn's turn came. Lee Foster, the host, questioned her immediately. Robyn looked down and cleared her voice, asking, "Did you know the others weren't getting their share?" "I didn't believe I had the authority to inquire." She said. Christine let out a big laugh. By the last day, nobody was holding back. You always had the right. You just didn't care. Kody was criticized by Janelle for using loyalty as a weapon. Christine said that he had manipulated TLC to only shoot the narratives that portrayed Robyn as a victim. Meri encapsulated it perfectly. You entered carrying a knife and a smile. Kody stormed out after tearing off his microphone in an attempt to push back. Robyn was chased by cameras, his body trembling and tears streaming down his face. The remaining women remained sat, composed, and finished. But TLC continued to shoot. Additionally, Robyn's final request to retain the mansion was promptly turned down following the summit. When she arrived at the rental, the sheriff gave her the documents. The final order for repossession had arrived, in addition to losing her house. She had also lost what little security she still had. Kody and Robyn went from being at the center of everything to being in the background in less than a year. Silently, Robyn packed, Kody murmuring that he was duped by. In the background, everyone slammed their doors. The headlines rolled outside. There was nothing left to defend within, and the family had finally had enough of their silence. During her last confession, Robyn sat in low light with her hair pulled up and her eyes sunken. "I believe that keeping quiet would keep me safe," she said. "I believe that love would suffice." But there was more to that melancholy than that. Resignation. The match was over. Quietly, Meri and Janelle signed documents that gave them shared control of the family's remaining assets. They no longer had to clap back. The facts were self-evident. They had their freedom, their dignity, and at last, peace. Kody and Robyn, meanwhile, waited in a sparse flat, surrounded by quiet and unread bills. Just remorse and the consequences of decisions made behind closed doors. No cameras, no crew. They believed that silence could be purchased, loyalty could be commanded, and they were untouchable. But they were outlived by the truth. The dethronement was finished. The cameras continued to roll, but not this time on Robyn.